Welcome, Sanjay. Thank you for joining. It's,
Thanks,
it's a
Joe.
pleasure to host you today. Uh, Over the next 20-25 minutes, we will just like to deliberate on how the CX world is shaping globally, specifically as far as the insurance industry is concerned.
Yeah.
So, with over 25 years of experience, as you were telling just now in the insurance industry, I'm sure you have seen major changes over the last so many years. In your view, what are the key trends that are shaping India's insurance sector today? How have
So
the customer expectations evolved over the time? And which are the gaps, which are the biggest gaps which you see, which still needs to be addressed as far as insurance is concerned?
yeah. I'll take it one by one. If I have to just look back at the last 25 years, and why I'm mentioning a quarter of a century is when the insurance sector opened up, right, in 2000.
Right, right,
And HDFC Life was forced to get the license to operate as a private player. And where we started in 2000, and as we are speaking in 2025, I think the sector has undergone a sea change, in terms of the whole, you know, the framework of the marketplace, the way insurance was being sold. It was largely still in some fashion, it still is a push product, advice-based product. But where we have traversed in these 2.5 decades is the understanding about life insurance, the importance of life insurance in overall financial planning, and also you know, the way life insurance is perceived by an individual customer. So while still we have to cover a long distance, I'll say to ensure that it becomes a kind of a pull-driven product, it will, in some form or fashion, remain an intimidation-based business, right? What has really helped in the last decade or so, I'll say I'm pointing out to specifically to the last decade is because, when the ecosystem is kind of transforming around you, every industry benefits in some form or fashion. And it's up to you as an industry, as a player, how easily you are adapting to the changes, right? So the way the government of India has kind of pushed the whole jam trinity, right? The whole
right,
API, the stack in terms of how do you, kind of access a customer, how a customer can access your products and services. How are our own regulator, I'm sure you would be aware, the way the regulator is kind of pushing for insurance for all by 2047,
right.
how the, segment is still kind of largely untapped in terms of insurance penetration. In terms of specifically customer experience, I think more and more, service providers like us uh, focus primarily on customers. Okay, how do really customers are kind of given a product which is kind of very, very simple to understand, how the services are kind of seamless across every platform, whether it's through an intimidation based, agent based, kind of selling, whether it's a direct buying, through internet. I think for every piece, the disruption which we see around our, ecosystem, whether it's the advent of, e-commerce players, whether it's the experience which customers like you and me, get, whether it's using a Apple product or a Netflix or any other services. So I don't think customers are looking at you and telling, okay, fine, you are an insurance company, so I'm okay with a kind of service which is not really comparable. They're not, right? They're very clear, boss, this is a product I'm buying from you. I need a superlative experience.
Right,
In
right.
our experience, I think if we are able to solve for that, and which we are, you'll see a lot of things which have changed in the way we onboard a new customer, how frictionless it has become compared to what we were doing 10 years back, how the product introduction itself has become so simple. I'm not saying they're not complicated products, they're still, and we have to cover a distance. But I think it's pretty much, the way we look at customer experience, uh, it kind of becomes an industry agnostic thing, and insurance cannot be separate or kind of very isolated from that. So that's how the
Right.
customer experience has evolved, right? And long gone has been the system where, there is a neighborhood friendly advisor will walk into a home, sir, ek naya policy aaya hai, can you fill in this form and then I'll take care of it. It's no longer there, right? Customer do know that what they're getting into. So we are kind of upping the game in terms of how they approach us, how we respond to them. So I think that's where the customer experience has been. Uh,
I think you're right. I think you're
yeah.
right.
And gaps, I'll say, while again coming back to usage of technology, insurance companies largely have been, they are kind of, I'll admit, uh, they're not the very fastest mover in the space, right? But we pride ourselves in terms of how do we utilize technology and digital, assets to ensure the customer experience is kind of improved year on year, right? Uh, the way we have implemented customer experience by personalization, by application of AI, I can give an example of onboarding of a new customer. Today, we have a certain cohort of customers which are onboarded without any human intervention.
Right.
And it's so intuitive that the customer does not feel that he or she is alone, and they can buy that seamlessly. Is it the ultimate level of experience which is there? No, there's a distance to cover, but I think the way the integration needs to be kind of done towards AI, blockchain to improve the customer experience. I think we have to cover some distance there, but it's a progress nevertheless. Yeah.
No, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
One thing which has been traditionally a different scheme as compared to the global markets is when we talk about CX and insurance, there are two major touch points. The first, when you are selling the product,
Yep.
and when the insurer or his kith and kin go for a claiming process.
Yeah.
And the CX, where it matters most, it can be a matter of debate. But are you also working on delivering a superior CX when the claim process comes in, when the policy matures or when the person is in the need of the money because of some mishap or whatever. So how is this journey from sales to the claim is you are making it seamless?
When I mentioned customer experience, and I just gave an example of onboarding, okay, but customer experience for us means right from the first handshake, okay, which is the product introduction through our website or in person if my sales folks are meeting somebody, till the last handshake, which is the claims. And for us, as an industry, and I personally believe because I've been here for the last 25 years, claims is the moment of truth. We are selling a product which is long term in nature, right? Intangible benefits, something which is promised for future. You know, something unfortunate happens, there's a kind of claim payout to the beneficiary. I think unless we are able to deliver that experience of the beneficiary or the nominee getting the monies or the benefits, even the maturity payout, I will talk about, not just the death claims. I think the whole customer experience, thought process, how do we ensure that there's a seamless process without any friction, without any pain to the, beneficiary, we make that payment. That's where we also, focus quite, I mean, it's a very large focus area apart from the onboarding part. And because that's a moment of truth, and if
Right.
you look at our claim settlement experience, the kind of turnaround times, and we continuously work on, along with the regulator, that how do we reduce the paperwork. And again, as I mentioned, the whole digital stack of India,
Right.
Aadhaar-based payout, you're doing a penny drop and you're just ensuring that money gets credited directly. All that hassle, which is earlier that you'll send out a check, we still make payments through check in some cases, but a very reasonable portion of claimants get the payout, directly into the account, right?
Right.
Multiple options, and
Right.
the reduction in the requirements which we ask for, from the claimant, we have kind of drastically brought it down. So, and the kind of, feedback we get, because it's very important for us to get that feedback on a regular basis, right? That's how we improve. And we have realized that we have covered quite a distance there. And the testimony to that is our best-in-class claim settlement ratio,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, definitely. Okay, you said about product management, and I
Yes.
understand that you have created some best-in-class award-winning products over the time. Um, how do you see customer expectations shaping product innovation, especially in the insurance sector where the requirements are so diverse.
Yeah.
Right from your HNIs to someone who has, who is a very meager source of income.
Yeah. So yeah, it has been a kind of I say it still remains a passion in terms of product because that's where I spent quite many years. You know, so we believe that, as I said, life insurance is a very important and integral part of financial planning. The most basic form of life insurance is pure term, right? That's the we keep on telling our customers or prospective customers that this is one of the must-have products you should have, because that's where you get protected against any kind of unfortunate event, and you are able to ensure that there is something sizable left for the family, right?
Right.
You can't replace the valuable life, but that's how life insurance is positioned. In terms of the whole premise, the way the life insurance products we have seen, and it's an evolution, right? It's a highly regulated industry, but the way it has moved, the core remains the pure term, which is a protection. Then it's a kind of long-term discipline savings, right? Where you have and we have been known as product factory in the industry, right? We keep
Right.
coming up back with innovative products. Whether it's Sanjay was 4 5 years back, it's kind of a path-breaking product. We long back we sent out launched a product for a women's segment, so we very closely monitor what kind of segments are evolving. Okay, whether it's a younger generation, whether it's a middle aged, where you need to build up an asset, whether it's a drawdown part for the senior citizens. I personally call them wisdom investors because they have the money, they need that particular investment vehicle. So we have this range of savings, investments, pension plans, annuities, the whole range of products through the entire life cycle, along with a very comprehensive, protection plans. Not just the pure death benefit, but also which gives you lots of rider covers, which covers the critical illnesses,
Right. Right.
disability benefits and all. So it's a very comprehensive suite. And, at any stage of a customer, whether it's a single, recently started earning, to a family person with kids, to a person who is going to have a kind of liability in terms of their kids' education, then to, build up a pension corpus. We have products for every category. And regulator has been very, very favorable in terms of dispensing the whole framework and wherewithal to design new products. We have this sandbox platform which was created by the regulator, where great many products have been kind of tried and tested and then launched in the market, right? So I think it has again evolved to a great degree in the last 20 25 years. And what's common in these product for different segments is that it's always designed keeping in mind what the customer wants. Okay, in terms of understanding the real benefit, the what really a customer, earlier it was kind of very opaque, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know, I'll get some bonus in some product, but it's still a choice, right? But is it the only choice? No, the customer is very free to select a product where the there's a very clear benefit structure where the customer knows that I have to pay premium for X number of years and this is a guaranteed benefit I'm going to get, right? This is what I'm going to use as a pension product, and I'll have a kind of a guaranteed annuity for the lifetime.
Correct.
I think these are all very customer friendly products. And given the range and the innovation which keeps happening in our industry, especially in our company, I think it's always designed keeping the customer in mind. So this is what we do. I mean, that's how
Right.
I have approached product management and development in that regard. Yeah.
Wonderful. As a head of CX, right,
Yeah.
of HDFC Life, um, I'm sure you must be coming across. What do you think are the biggest stumbling blocks in delivering seamless CX and also uniform CX
Yeah.
across the country, given the vastness of the country and given the kind of different requirements? How do you ensure that it is seamless and standard?
So the first thing is very internal, right? Customer experience is not something which is an additional thing which we do, right? It's very cultural. as an organization, how are oriented towards offering a customer experience. And as I told you, Mridul, that, customer experience starts with the first introduction to the customer, right? And that customer could be from any part, any segment, through any medium, right? How that customer is handheld, how the customer gets a very, very personalized experience at every interaction, every handshake, whether it's buying a new product or inquiring about a new product for that matter, how that buying journey experience is there, involved with the servicing, very often, and I can be very frank, very often I'm told that, once you have this plethora of self-service options, which every company has, right? Digital options, uh, in a business like insurance, customers very often get confused. So for us, customer experience is very critical by applying to a large extent whatever the latest technologies and digital tools are available. But we ensure that there's a human touch involved. That whole core empathy, human empathy, has to be there in the processes. We do not allow processes to become proxies, for customer experience or customer service. That's a very strong discipline, if I can say, within the organization, and that's what we try to inculcate. So every person within the organization, in some form or fashion, is engaging with the customer at a different level, right?
Right.
Promise which we deliver through our customer experience, I'll call it a signature HDFC Life customer experience, that does not get diluted. If it gets diluted, we sit back, we try to fix it. And it's because I believe that we'll make promises, and sometimes due to some consideration, some promises could be broken, right? Whether it's in the service journey, whether it's onboarding, or whether it's a claim. How do I deal with that broken promise is the experience I'm going to offer to the customer. The customer should not be really, if somebody is calling me on, in my, this service number, or through a website, or writing to me on a social media, we should be able to respond the way we should be responding to customer in person. So that's where the challenge is, very often customer experience is, when you start talking about it, very often it's about how do you balance the requirement of the P&L requirement. So why do I invest so much in customer experience, initiatives or projects? But eventually, it has turned out that whatever single rupee investment you are doing to improve customer experience, it has a very, very material bearing in increasing the profit pools,
Right.
because
Right.
you are able to satisfy a customer, so you are able to retain that customer. You are able to possibly upsell more, right? And that's always a beneficial thing, even in terms of pure economics. So
Right.
that interplay gets managed pretty well at HDFC Life. And we have kind of, we ensure that whatever challenges are, we face that and solve for it. So ultimately, keeping
Okay.
customer at center makes all the problems solvable. And
Right.
once you solve for the customer, you are solving for every stakeholder in the business. So that's
Correct.
my mantra. That's
Absolutely.
how we run customer experience here. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay. My last question to you.
Sure.
I mean, and you've been a veteran in the insurance industry, but I would rather also, part of the financial services industry. What key developments are you foreseeing in the coming years, especially in helping financial industry to deliver better CX?
Yeah. So, I talked about the digital stack, right? I think more and more, how do we create fully digital, truly digital platforms for seamless and paperless, insurance journeys, from onboarding to renewal premiums to servicing to claims? It's still work in progress. That's one thing. And I think, uh, especially for life insurance, one of the very critical aspects is the risk assessment of the
Right.
person, how non-intrusive that risk assessment can be done, right? And without, I mean, unless there is a 100% requirement, I do not want a customer to go to a medical center. But there are certain kind of categories, the kind of cover you want, all that happens.
Right.
But with the kind of progress which is happening in health technology or medical technology, I think we are in a position, possibly in very near future, that we can solve a lot of health assessment by just scanning the face, right? I'm sure you are aware of that. So if I'm able to build that
Right. Yes.
onboarding
Yes.
journey, if I'm able to build that in my onboarding journey, I'm going to offer a very wow experience. I'm not only doing a risk assessment, I'm getting the answers to all the questions. The whole credentials of the customers is kind of established using the digital stack, right? And a customer is issued a policy. I mean, that's the wow factor
Right. Right.
talking about, right?
Right.
Second part, the whole open banking and the way the integration happens across, multiple accounts of customers in different banks, insurance, and other financial needs, right? You can correlate that and you can tailor products for them, right? Again, technology can aid a lot. The whole
Right.
service part, I think the way AI has been evolving at a pace, I think servicing could be at a very different level, life, especially in life insurance, the way we can utilize generative AI, right? Uh,
Yes.
then there is a kind of whole ecosystem of, organized, self-employed segment, right?
Yeah.
Which are brought in, I think with the whole GST and other platforms the government of India has done, I'm sure using that you can create a lot of embedded products for the customer. Again, technology plays a very important role there. How do I ensure greater usage of blockchain? That's another trend which we have been trying of toying with. But I think the whole managing a tamper-proof records, using a blockchain, I think that's one thing life insurance companies can benefit a lot from, which we have not really
Right.
utilized a great deal, right? AI, I did talk about. One personal thing is which I believe in the recent, very near future is that, there is a concept of underwriting, which is a risk assessment of a
Right. Right.
life, right? It's very often in the background, right? It happens later. I get the information from the customer, then I possibly say, okay, according to a particular grid, I'll do a medical, I'll do ask you 20 questions, possibly on phone or a video call, or ask you to visit a center. I think we are moving to a direction where we can automate that to a great extent by minimizing the need for any customer to visit a health center. Minimize the need.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I mean that's where the word is evolving to, and
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's pretty much I
Yeah.
believe.
That's right.
Uh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Thank you, Sanjay. Thanks. It was
Thanks,
lovely
Mridul.
chatting with you.
Yeah.
And and getting how you are driving things at HDFC Life, which is of course very great to know, and
Yeah.
also about your your how you're looking at the future as far as the insurance industry is concerned. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Mridul. Thanks, Mridul. It's a great talking to you, and we hope we connect again very soon. Thanks a
Sure,
lot.
definitely.